And it's interesting because, I remember when we started, working, with the SAP Business One community back, I think it was back in 2017. And, we were talking to CFOs and they were like, yeah, your solution is really good. Back then when we started with it, we didn't have as many modules as we do today. We didn't have our 30 modules. I think we had, when we were starting, about 7 or 8 modules that we had available. And the reaction was, okay, you know, we're gonna start. I'm gonna only give it to me for one user. And I'm like, no problem. You want to have one user? I'm not setting a minimum for you. You want to go with one user? No problem. We do one user because I know what's going to happen. It's the same thing that goes on. Again, at the end of the day, they can test it, they can play around with it, but I know that within less than a month, this always happens. The CFO will say, well, I got it for me. Now my users know what I can provide to them in terms of capability, in terms of data that they've been wanting for. And they're like, I'm getting requests left, right, and center in regards to creating these reports, creating these dashboards. And the CFO says to me, he goes, I wasn't hired to create reports and dashboards. I'm like, now I need more users. So for us, it's kind of like, start small. You want to start with one user? No problem. We're not putting minimums in play like some of the other providers that are out there where it's like, oh, I need to buy 10 licenses, I need to buy 25 licenses, which I think, in the SAP world, I think looking at, SAP Analytics Cloud, requiring them to have that 25 user minimum. And some customers are like, especially in Latin America, they're like, yeah, no, I just want,
Yeah.
I want 2 users, I want 3 users. Like, so we don't kind of put that limitation for the customer because we want the customer to be able to grow with the solution. We want them to be able to, again, start small and build it outwards, let you get that value, that return on investment to show that it's worthwhile to, you don't have to take on all 30 modules that we've created. You can start with the base that we kind of provided as a starting point. And if it works for you, which, we have a very high degree of success because for us, it's kind of, and I think it's the similar for Cloud for Partners. Once a customer starts with the solution, it's very hard to go backwards because they kind of like, the reaction that we get is, I didn't know how I was able to do this prior to not having your solution in play, so it's very compelling for that. But again, start small, see the value, but we know it's almost like I can give a guarantee, of that it's going to be something for you that you're not going to want to be without because it becomes mission critical. It becomes part of the business. And it's almost to the point where if customers didn't have it, they didn't know how they were running the business before. And it's a visibility